Hello, happy Thursday. I'm so excited to be back with you guys in literacy. I hope you had an awesome time yesterday with Miss Dirksen in our story, The U.S. in Space. Because today with Miss Kelly, you're going to go back to that story and we're going to be able to figure out some missing vocabulary by using context clues and thinking about what makes the most sense in our story. Then afterwards, when we've done practicing our vocabulary and we echo read our story together, then at the end, we're going to do some writing today. And I'm really excited to see your ideas because this is all about what you think in writing today. And I'm really excited to see. Okay, let's get started with our first missing word. And let's see if you guys can figure out what makes the most sense. So I've covered up a missing word in our story. When we get to the sentence, we're going to pause and figure out which one of these words would make the most sense in the context of our sentence. Okay, here we go. The U.S. in space. In 1961, Alan Shepard became the first American to go into Wow, we've already hit our first missing word. Let me reread that, and I want you to think in your head, would the word space or the word orbit make the most sense? In 1961, Alan Shepard became the first American to go into the first American to go into space or the first American to go into orbit? Think in your head, which word makes the most sense? Let's see if you were right. It was the word space. Remember, orbit means to go around. That's not the same thing as space, our solar system. Great job, first grade. Let's move on to the next one. In 1961, Alan Shepard became the first American to go into space. A year later, in February 1962, John Glenn orbited Earth 3 times. In July 1969, a team of U.S. astronauts on the moon. Okay, we got to our next missing word. We're going to go back and reread this sentence and think to ourselves, is it the word touched or the word landed that would make the most sense? Let's go back and reread. In July 1969, a team of U.S. astronauts on the moon. U.S. astronauts touched on the moon or U.S. astronauts landed on the moon? Take a few seconds and think in your head, what makes the most sense in our story? Let's see. Landed. Even though touched might work, they did more than just touch the moon. They landed and walked around on the moon, so this one makes more sense. Great job. We have one more example to practice. Let's see if you can get it. In July 1969, a team of U.S. astronauts landed on the moon. Today, there are showing us pictures of Mars. Okay, so we got to our last missing word. We need to think in our head, should it be the word aliens or rovers? Today, there are showing us pictures of Mars. Today, there are aliens showing us pictures of Mars, or today there are rovers showing us pictures of Mars. Which one makes the most sense? Let's see. Today there are rovers showing us pictures of Mars. If you got that word correct, pat yourselves on the back. I think it was the word rovers because we see that in our picture over here. Are we talking about aliens in our story? No way. So that one didn't make sense. Beautiful job. Now we're ready to go and read through our story, echo reading. Remember, when we echo read, Miss Kelly will read the sentence first, and then your turn to read after me. I want to make sure that you're following along and practicing right after Miss Kelly. Here we go. The U.S. in space. In 1961, Alan Shepard became the first American to go into space. A year later, in February 1962, John Glenn orbited Earth 3 times. In July 1969, a team of U.S. astronauts landed on the moon. Today, there are rovers showing us pictures of Mars. Maybe one day astronauts will land on Mars. Beautiful job, first grade. I can almost hear you guys in my living room reading along with our story, and I love it. Now I have a challenge for you guys. In our story, there are 3 words with the long E sound. I'm going to read through our story again. You can read along with me, but we're going to try and think what words use the long E sound. Read along one more time with Miss Kelly. The U.S. in space. In 1961, Alan Shepard became the first American to go into space. A year later, in February 1962, John Glenn orbited Earth 3 times. In July 1969, a team of U.S. astronauts landed on the moon. Today, there are rovers showing us pictures of Mars. Maybe one day astronauts will land on Mars. Were you able to hear the 3 words that had a long E sound in our story? I'll help you with the first one. When I was reading the sentence, a year later, I noticed in year I saw E-A. Let me see if that has the long E sound. Y-e-er. Year. That word has my long E sound. Let me add it to the list. Year. And what part made that long E sound? E-A. Did you notice another word that had the E-A sound in there? The word team. Good job. Team. We see E-A makes that same E sound. There was one other word that had the long E sound. Did you see it? The word 3. What letters make the E sound in the word 3? E-E. You guys know so many ways to make the long E sound, but I don't think there are any magic E's in here today. Awesome job, first grade. I'm so proud of your hard work. Let's move on to our writing today. I have a question for you, and I'm not going to give you much sentence stems because I really want this to be about what you think is best for your writing. So again, I'm going to ask the question, you're going to write a response to it, and I want you to include as many reasons, examples, sentence stems as you think you need to answer the question. Okay, my question is, why were the first astronauts important? So think back to all the stories we've read this whole unit about space, and I want you to think, why were the first astronauts important? I gave you one sentence stem to get you started, but that's all the help I'm giving you today. I said if you wanted a complete sentence, you might say, the first astronauts were important because, You can use any of the examples from the text that we've read this whole unit, or maybe some knowledge that you have about space that you've learned from science class or anywhere else. I can't wait to see this work. Make sure you are sending a picture to Miss Kelly or Miss Finney so we can read these amazing writing pieces. Thanks, first grade.